In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Half a day, everyone. Nestor Licanto here with another edition of In Full Zoom, and I'm pleased to welcome our guest today, Jessica Leon Guerrero, of course, who is the president of M80 Systems, and we also have Tom Polevich and Andrew Apatang from APEC, Allied Pacific Environmental Consulting. Welcome, everybody.
Thanks.
How you doing, Nestor?
All right, and as we always do on In Full Zoom, I want to start off the show is talk a little bit about your business. And let me start with you, Jess. Tell us what M80 Systems does.
Well, M80 has been in business for about 25 years right now. Our motto is making spaces a reality. We started off initially as a furniture dealer on Guam, so we did office furniture, conference rooms, anything with an interior office space to make it functional and also hopefully aesthetically pleasing for any workplace. Throughout the years, we've been able to kind of expand our business and diversify, and so we also do construction, we do flooring, wall treatments, window treatment solutions. If we can't source it, we'll build it, so we have a custom carpentry shop as well. And so like I said, what we really want to do is make spaces functional, make spaces a reality, and work with our customers so that they have an environment, a working environment that meets their needs.
All right, and we'll get to how the pandemic, the COVID-19 has impacted your business, but let me introduce again Tom Polevich, and tell us about APEC, Tom.
Oh yes, APEC. APEC has been in existence since 1998. We're an environmental firm. We provide environmental services that range from, we started with groundwater and soil contamination investigation. I'm a geologist by training, and we expanded to, as most folks do here on Guam, to wearing many hats, and we do all aspects of environmental work, including asbestos cleanup, lead-based paint removal, mold, microbial remediation. We specialize that. There are pretty high specifications for all of those and requirements for training for all of those. And so we've been doing that. We have an office in Saipan, an office here, and we've quite a background in doing that. So I guess we're 20 some odd years we've been in business.
All right, thank you. And Andrew, of course, you work with Tom. Let me get started with the reason I've invited both companies here today is to talk about a little bit about how COVID has impacted your business by actually increasing, I guess, doing some different things with your business. Andrew, can you talk a little bit about your disinfecting of services?
Yeah, first off, thank you, Nestor, for having us. We, as Tom mentioned, we've been in business for a while doing remediation type work, and it was a natural evolution that we convert from the microbial, specifically mold, into the protection and disinfection of COVID-19. We already had the capability to do it and the certifications to do it, but what we had to do was ramp up our equipment, our personnel, and our training to meet the demand that is to disinfect our community and all the businesses and homes out there that were in dire need.
All right, we kind of. All right,
yeah, that was our contribution to the COVID-19 pandemic.
All right. And Jess, I know that M80s has built its business on office design, but now with the COVID, you kind of branched out into customer-facing protection for these businesses. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I think when the Road to Recovery came out and the government put into place operational requirements for people to go ahead and start going back to work, a lot of the different owners looked at it and said, okay, how do we meet the needs of requirements? How do we keep our employees safe? How do we create it so that people also feel comfortable coming back to work? And a lot of that meant putting up sneeze protection, acrylic shields to be able to now block people from each other, and create social distancing. And so, as people were working together and trying to figure out, okay, let's bring our team back, but this is what we'll have to do. One of our bigger clients had called us and said, hey, we need to do this. Can you guys do it? And we looked and we're like, sure, why not? So we went to our wood shop. We have a team of carpenters and, you know, a great team who we looked at it. We looked at some plans. We had our designers come in. They did some renderings. We looked at it. We did job site visits. And so we went and we did a couple prototypes and looked at it and said, okay, this works. This is really going to protect and provide safety to their workplace. So yeah, I mean, we just basically took our carpenters, and now they're, instead of doing woodwork, they're doing acrylic work. So it was within the same wheelhouse, just using a different material now.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
And Tom, I know that in doing your disinfecting service, there are certain CDC and EPA guidelines that you sort of have to meet?
Yes, there's OSHA, CDC, US EPA guidelines to meet. And I think there's actually more. There's a microbial remediation protocol. And there's only specific CDC, US EPA approved products. And
okay, I think we've got
compliant.
Okay, go ahead.
If you want to be compliant with everything, requires a bit of research and then training and the proper PPE for your workers to protect them. Also, Drew, if you would like to add to that, Drew is actually on a microbial remediation job right now. He's well versed in this also.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the disinfectant products that you use, Drew.
Right. So there's several out there, and actually there's actually
Andrew, I don't know if you were able to hear that.
Yeah, we got them on there, Tom.
Off.
Okay.
So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a magnitude of chemicals out there and disinfectant, and just as Tom mentioned, they have to be EPA registered, and so our product, we have, like I said, several, but one of our main ones is Shockwave, and that in itself was EPA registered. The interesting thing about it is not just that it has to be EPA registered. You have to have a hazardous communication program when your employees or you yourself try to disinfect. It is important that you try not to blend certain chemicals together. You have to understand the ramifications of doing that. You may create toxic gases, and that's one of our the hallmarks of what we do. We want to make sure that when people do it, they do it safely and we do it responsibly, and hence why we make sure that all our personnel are trained and certified in handling those chemicals. Yeah, and when anytime you're dealing with the chemicals and that sort of thing, people kind of become a little fearful maybe about how safe those products are for them. How safe are they? They are pretty safe, and again, each chemical comes from SDS sheet, and if you work within the parameters of those safety guidelines, you should be okay. The industrial type of chemicals we use have to be diluted in a certain way that is rendered safe. And then it's the disbursement of those chemicals. And so we use ultra low volume foggers, which then disperses the disinfectant down to 2 microns. And just to give you an idea of what that is, your hair follicle actually is 70 microns. And then with a standard sprayer, the droplets on that is about 50 microns. So you can imagine that it is extremely small. And so that's what it is. And so it's also the disbursement is what I wanted to mention. Yeah.
All right. And Jessica, let me move to you. I know that part of your design work involves floor space utilization. But how has the pandemic kind of impacted that? Because I know now probably more employees want more space between themselves and, you know, the desk of the other person. How has it impacted how you design?
So I think, I was on a conference call this morning with one of our top manufacturers, and even the manufacturers themselves, the furniture manufacturers, are actually understanding, okay, in order to keep people safe, we have to change the mindset of how and the trends that we were going towards. The trends earlier this year and probably for the last 3 years has been an open concept design. Very collaborative, open workspaces. You just basically have a big benching table, maybe a divider in between, maybe no divider, and so instead of these big panel systems that are 6 feet up, 6 feet wide, whatnot, it's been tighter spaces and more of a collaborative workspace. Unfortunately with COVID, that doesn't really allow us to do that type of trend anymore. And now it's more, okay, let's put these barriers back up. And so, it's as we continue to go through and design spaces, our manufacturers have given us options. So instead of doing fabrics, they're making it with vinyl covers now so that it's easier to clean, it's cleanable, you can wipe it down, and then you don't have fabrics in between that are harder to clean out. So, not only have we changed and adapted to the ways of how COVID has come about and what we need to put into place, but also our manufacturers are coming up with great ideas to be able to provide protection within the work.
Yeah, so are you saying that the cubicles of the past that we became used to, those are no longer going to happen?
Put them all back up, yeah, and that was the hardest part is and that's why what we do is very custom. Being experts within the furniture workplace or the furniture world is, we were able to work with our clients. We were able to take off top caps of their current panel systems and look in it and, okay, what can we do? Where can we drill so that, it also is aesthetically pleasing? We don't have to drill into their current furniture, or what other options do we have to be able to secure the acrylics to their current furniture? People, the next thing they don't want is, hopefully a few months from now, things are a lot better. There's cures or there's better answers to be able to contain the virus. And maybe one day we won't have to worry about all these shields. But when that happens, the last thing our customers want is to be able to take them all down, and then they have, holes or, things all over their furniture. Now we have to figure out how to cover it up. So, we've had a team of experts, our designers, our space planners go out and meet with our customers and really understand what they need, and then look at their current furniture and how do we fixate it and install it so that, in the future, we're also talking about not what they need only right now, but in the future, when we should be able to take them down, how will it look at that time too?
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Right. I think we might have lost Tom for a bit, but we're trying to get him back. And so, Drew, let me just ask you, how often do you need to disinfect these buildings and office spaces?
And so, as I mentioned before, the frequency of disinfection would be highly reliant on the population that you serve, the employees you have, or the frequency of visitors or customers. And so some of our clients request us to come weekly, some bi-weekly, and then some monthly. And we do a real good, thorough job of our initial disinfection. And then the reoccurring frequency, again, is based on their business, structure and what they take in and what type of employees, the number of employees they have.
All right. I think we do have Tom back. Hey, Tom, so let me ask you, when you go to talk with a customer, or if a customer calls you, what are some of the issues and concerns that they have and why they need your service?
Well, the issues range from the general concern, primary concern about disinfecting, removing the potential to spread or continue to spread COVID virus. That's number one. And number two, it's the reassurance that an area has been disinfected, and the reassurance is for the people that are going to frequent that area. So those people would be, of course, the employees, anybody that are going to be there, clients, customers. So everybody feels safe that there's a proper procedure that's documented, that has paperwork to show behind it what has been done. We even video a lot of our procedures to document that they've been done. In addition to that, what we do offer is for folks, if it's a
Okay, I think we may have kind of lost Tom again, so I'm going to move to Jessica. All right,
sticker of sorts.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Jess, let me ask you the same question. So, what are some of your main issues or questions or concerns that you get from your customers in terms of maybe renovating or reorganizing or rearranging the office space as a result of the COVID?
I think one of the things I have to say is Guam has been, and we've always been a really resilient island. As the requirements came out of, hey, we want to go back into being able to get people back to the normal way of life. But of course, there's going to be additional requirements needed. I think Guam's done a great job of being able to adhere to these regulations, and I think for us, it was just, what solution is there? I think for the most part, we really haven't had any reluctancy of people wanting it. It was just like, okay, how do we do it? Was really the main thing is we would have to look at a space, and then we would have to kind of get a team and say, okay, this is a space, this is a pictures. What's the best way to keep this workplace safe? How can we create this? This is what the customer wants. And, they give us all these different things, but we would look back and then work back with our designers and our carpentry shop. And we'd look at it and say, okay, wait, we can do it like this. They want this, but it won't work that way, but here's another option. So I think a lot of it is just, really relying on our team, relying on our customers, understanding the needs that they want, and then presenting an option. Some of them were really, we just need this and we just need it secured. And then we'd had some where it was very technical, how do we put it, for example, the Guam International Airport, when you go in and right before you go into security, you give your passport and they check before you go into security. They have this little kiosk. And you're sitting at this little kiosk thinking, okay, how do you provide protection around there? And that's where we went and we said, okay, this is some options that we could present. And, I think the fact that, we do custom work really was an advantage, because then we were able to take our, all the different equipment we have and really create custom work for our customers so that it fit perfectly. And, that, in the end of the day, like I said, I think people were just, we want to go back to work, but we have to make sure we meet the requirements. How do we do that? And what do we need to do?
Yeah, do you see, like, for example, when I see people now, including myself, when we go into a public place, like maybe a post office, we don't want to touch the door handle so we use our shoulder or whatever, you go backwards or something like that. Do you see those kind of innovations for the office space too, like a keyless or a handleless door or an automatic door within spaces so that people don't have to touch things if they don't actually have to?
I think eventually people are going to be looking at, okay, now as we put up the shields and we did this immediately, what are the long lead items that we could do? I think that's a perfect solution. How do we do it? Where we just press a button, or we kind of, hit it with our arm so that there's less physical contact with different touch points. I think there's going to be different solutions, different budgets. That's going to be a great idea. Other people, at least for M80, unfortunately, we didn't do an automatic door, but we do wipe downs 3-4 times a day, and any touch points, doorknobs, all those, we have to disinfect them. But I think eventually people, depending on how long this lasts, will look into the bigger ticket items like, okay, we need an automated door. We need almost like when you're walking into the mall and it's censored. Stuff like that. But I think for now, it's really been, how do we protect the employees immediately? Like I said, our manufacturers has already been putting in, I think from the start of COVID, they had to kind of realize, how do we get things safer and how do they manufacture things? We were very fortunate that we had our own carpentry shop. We had our own guys who were, construction workers who understood the concept, and we were able to do it local. That kind of saved time because people needed these yesterday. As things were kind of starting to lift, it's like, okay, wait, we need this like in 2 days, or the short time, the period that we were given was short. So, we've had such a great dedicated staff who stood by us, stood by our customers and said, okay, we're going to have to work a little bit longer to get this done, to meet their deadlines because they want to open up on this day. And like I said, Guam's just been really resilient and just looking at the ways, and in the end of the day, it's safety, And as a company owner, I was very concerned, okay, once we bring our team back, how are we going to do it? What do we need to do to protect our employees, to protect our team, and to protect any of our customers?
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Yeah. And Drew, as part of your consulting, do you also consult with the companies on how to maintain cleanliness in the office space? Is that something that your company also does?
Actually, yes, we reiterate all the guidance that has been provided by CDC, OSHA, World Health Organization. So not only do we come in and we provide disinfection services, but we give them kind of a handout of pamphlet, to kind of demonstrate to continue maintaining good cleanliness, sanitation processes, and disinfection processes. And that will be what they would practice up until we are able to come back in for the second reoccurring services.
All right. And Tom, let me see if you're back on. Can you say hello to us? Do we still have you, Tom? Okay, yes. I'm not sure. Yeah. All right, there he is. Any final words for your customers in terms of the kind of services that you can provide to them?
Well, we can assure that we'll provide a service that will thoroughly disinfect an area. We're readily available to work around all hours, and we assure people that the disinfection process has happened per specific standards. We actually have a small sticker. I don't know if you got that information, or it's cut off, indicate and how frequent an area is being disinfected. And we also list in a website the areas that and the locations that have been disinfected and how frequently they are. So with that, we hope that everybody is safe, and I hope that the COVID disaster is behind us soon, and I hope everybody's well, and appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, Nestor. Nice to meet you, Jessica. And Andrew, I'm glad you've been online, and I hope you've heard this. I know we've been disconnecting frequently.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. I know there's been a little bit of difficulty, but thank you for joining us. And Jessica, I'm going to give you the final word today. What's your message to your customers and potential customers about what kind of services you can provide, especially in this COVID climate that we have?
Well, stay safe, Guam, and continue to meet the different guidelines set out, because it really is for your protection, for your team's protection, and we just need to create a safer environment. And like I said, things are changing, and we will continue to adapt to those changes. We will work with our clients, and if anyone needs any assistance, please feel free to call us here at M80 Systems. But we'll meet with you, we'll discuss, and we can do what we can. We'll work with you to do what we can to make your space a new reality, I guess, where it comes down to, and work with you to figure out how we can assist in making your workplaces a little bit more safer moving forward.
All right, that's Jessica Leon Guerrero, the president of M80 Systems. We were also joined today by Andrew Apatang and Tom Polevich of Allied Pacific Environmental Consulting. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it, and stay safe out there. I'm Nestor Licanto. That's In Full Zoom. We'll see you again next time.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.